Poland decided to cut the supply of Russian resources in April.
These are decisions which have been taken unanimously in Council. Okay, so you expect that the member states will obviously implement the decisions that they have taken themselves. Of course, we will continue to monitor the situation, but we have no doubt that the member states will implement these decisions since they are part of a very coherent strategy vis-à-vis Russia when it comes to fossil fuels, which have been laid out in a whole series of documents, as I have just said before.
Some experts believe that the embargo on Russian coal is a symbolic gesture because Russia earns much more income from other sources. 60% of Russian revenues come from oil and gas exports. However, as Marek Budjish noted, this and other sanctions are necessary due to the Russian attack on Ukraine. Rather, we have to speak here of a certain sum of decisions about policy, the aim of which is mainly to deprive Russia of the possibility of pursuing an aggressive policy using military potential, and Russia, lacking the means, may not be able to rebuild this potential as quickly as it would like. It was Poland that spoke loudly about the Russian threat and was the first to give up Russian coal. In many cases, these sanctions are obviously dictated by the brutality of war, the response to what we are seeing, war crimes. According to analysts, in sectors most dependent on international supply chains, inflation is as high as 60%. An example of Russia's problems is the sale of cars and motorcycles, which in February this year amounted to over 114,000, while in June fewer than 28,000. 70 billion of private money has fled Russia, along with rich Russians, along with companies that have left Russia. Russian propagandists say Russia is losing nothing from European sanctions because it has a rich Asian market. The reality, however, is different. The European market was the most lucrative from the point of view of the profitability of these exports. Secondly, the Russians, when looking for new customers for their raw materials under sanctions, have to sell them much more cheaply, which reduces the profitability of these exports. The European Union has imposed 6 packages of sanctions on Moscow since the beginning of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. They concern, among others, finance, energy and industry. Ukraine is constantly asking for support in the war against a more powerful enemy.